Hey, it's Matt Pinfield backstage, 1029's Big Ticket, hanging out with FanPass.tv. And right now I'm with Gus and Thom from Alt J. Guys, great to finally meet you guys, man. I love, the Leeds, it's funny because Leeds has, such a, where you're from has such an incredible history where people always think of the Who Live at Leeds album or, obviously Kaiser Chiefs. There's been a lot of bands from that area over the years. But tell me about what it was like for you guys growing up. What were you listening to? What was the scene like for you as kids when you wanted to be musicians? What was it?
Well, we didn't grow up together.
Yeah.
So we all grew up in different parts of the country.
Oh, what other parts did you grow up in England?
I'm from Cambridge.
Oh, okay.
Joe's from Southampton.
Oh, yes.
But so we all met at college, at university in Leeds.
Oh,
so
I
we all
see.
kind of converged from different parts of the country and sort of, I guess, brought our own personalities into the mix musically and personally.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff were you into growing up then?
Well, I liked a lot of grunge, a lot of metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to a lot of metal, like Metallica and Deftones.
Yeah.
They probably had a big influence on my drumming. Definitely the Deftones.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was so sad about Chi, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's
It is.
an incredible thing.
Yeah, but they're still doing it. They're still
They
going.
are. I'm glad they are. I'm glad they're all still doing it.
Yeah.
Steph and the boys are all out there and Chino. How about yourself? What were you listening to?
I had a big classical education musically.
Yeah.
But also listened to a lot of I was more into indie music growing up and stuff. So I was around the time of Block Party and those kind of bands. That was my big things. Around the time of bands like Block Party and stuff. When I was a young teenager, that was my real meat and drink. Strokes and stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a great time for that stuff.
It was great. Yeah, it was great.
What do you? I mean, it's amazing. People have really embraced the Alt J sound and the things that you guys do, and his voice, and which is very unique what you guys do. And songwriting is so good. So tell me about what were the earliest gigs like? Were people into it right away? Were you finding your way?
We spent 3 or 4 years in Leeds doing the band on the side of our studies. So our first gigs were playing around Leeds in different venues like pubs and stuff, and a lot of most of our friends coming to watch us. Really, it was only really once we left Leeds, moved down south, that we sort of actually started to get more of a reputation on a national level. People started. It was very rare that people would come to our gigs who we didn't know for the first couple of years. Really,
So was Zane Lowe a big supporter earlier on, or
Zane Lowe, Hugh Stevens, Steve Lamack, a lot of the BBC music team. Yeah.
That's very good, which is very cool. Tell me a bit about Left Hand Free, because I was, it's a funny story. You used to talk about grunge, and I always used to joke around with the guys in Soundgarden about Burden in My Hand. We were talking about the obvious kind of, I'm almost joking about our Left Hand Free, right? We were just kidding around, So I remember doing an album special with Soundgarden, Burden in My Hand, and going, so what is you talking about masturbating? So everybody in the band was cracking up. We were all dying, right?
It's funny.
So I thought about Left Hand Free, right hand, So tell me.
It's I don't really know what the Left Hand Free thing comes from, really, exactly. It's about sort of grappling with somebody in a bar fight or something.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty, homoerotic when you actually get down to it.
I think it's supposed to be. The lyrics are supposed to be. The whole track is very to the point. This is what it is. This is the kind of. Rarely do we find ourselves writing toward a genre.
Yeah.
And that was it just reeked of genre.
Yeah.
So we kind of
We
had fun
embraced
with
it.
it.
Which is very cool. Now with Freckled, the latest single, which is another great song, and it can be taken so many different ways. Tell me about the writing of that track.
That was this track that we wrote, a few years ago, and we.
After the first record, or during
before
the cycle?
Before the first record,
Wow.
And we'd never quite finish it. We could never seem to quite get it into shape where we were really happy with it. We had this really good riff for it and the good lyrics and stuff, and then it was finally adding that kind of middle bit where it goes do 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 do. That kind of actually just lifted it up and gave you a little break from the maybe slight monotony of the sort of main riff of the song, because the chorus and the verse have the same sort of chords, really.
Yeah.
So we would play and we were like, this is good, but it's just a bit boring.
Yeah.
We need something
And
else.
finally, you pulled it out. You brought it back up and resurrected it, right?
Yeah, I think this year we kind of, because we knew it was a good song, we knew we wanted to keep it.
Yeah.
It was just like, fuck's sakes, it's really boring. So
It's cool. When you did the song for Silver Linings Playbook, was that exciting to see how the expectations of the movie? Seeing Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, was it cool? When you saw
it was
the song?
cool.
yeah.
We got to meet David O. Russell in his office, which was wicked.
It was our first real kind of taste of that side of
The
LA.
Hollywood kind of,
Yeah, I mean it was amazing. We felt very privileged and kind of out of place.
Yeah.
But it's a great film as well. I'm really
Yeah,
proud
really good
that we
film.
were involved.
Yeah, that's great. I got to ask you guys 3 things. Name 3 things for me. each of you, and that's because we're here at this festival, Big Ticket.
Okay.
What's the first festival you saw, the first CD or record you bought, or whatever format it was, and the first concert you saw?
First festival I went to was V Festival.
All right.
Really shit.
Wait, that
For
one.
a day in 2004.
Yeah.
But I saw like The Killers and Kings of Leon,
You saw some good bands,
loads of
right?
good bands.
Yeah.
Then first CD I bought was Beatles' Yellow Submarine soundtrack.
Yeah.
And the first gig I went to was Kings of Leon at Brixton Academy in 2003.
Ah, that was great.
That was a
great
good gig.
stuff.
That was a cool
Absolutely.
gig.
You know, and you got Hate Bulldog on there. It's
Yeah,
great
exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, it's a good.
It's all
not
too much.
You're
You
not,
know,
you
for
know.
an album that it's like was kind of half energized into it.
Yeah.
There's still some great songs
Yeah,
on that
exactly.
record. I think.
I think so too.
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
And then what about yourself?
My first festival was Leeds Festival.
Yeah. And who was playing that year? What year was it?
It was 2002.
Okay.
So there was like The Offspring, Placebo, pretty sure Prodigy,
Yeah.
maybe the Foo Fighters. It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was, back then it was a bit more metal.
Yeah.
It wasn't as indie. Like now it's even like pop, like most of
Yeah.
it. But then they had actual metal bands and
Yeah.
Tenacious D.
Yeah.
So I had a great time. First record I bought was Weezer, who were playing after us.
The Blue album?
It was Hash Pipe.
Oh, High Five, but the green one. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got the green album. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I heard it on the radio.
Yeah, and it's a
And,
great song,
I was
isn't it?
like, fuck, boys, yeah, sorry, boy.
Yeah, it drives. It's you know.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and what about the first concert you saw?
First concert was Britney Spears.
Yeah, that's
didn't
cool.
know
though.
that.
Yeah.
Hey, look, you know my daughter.
Where was that?
She went to see like Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez, but now she's gonna be watching you guys on the side of the stage. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. It's just funny because I just didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it's Manchester. That was the first. Yeah.
Where in Manchester?
Yeah, Manchester Evening News Arena.
Yeah,
I was like 15 or something, 15, 16.
yeah.
I was still at school, so
And you also look like hot for her ass. as
that's
well.
why we went. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you wanted to love Britney Spears. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
15-year-old boy. You know, it's like the kids have with Selena Gomez. You know. It's
Yeah. And it was just me and my other friend, Andy.
cool.
So why not?
Well, that's fantastic, guys. So what's going on? So, I mean, listen, you won the Mercury Prize on the first record. This Soul Yours is a great record. It's great. It's 3 songs deep here in the States. And you guys, you know people love you here. The shows have direction. What are you guys going to do? I mean, you're going to knock off for the holidays, for Christmas and everything. And then what are you guys planning on doing in the year? Are you more touring? You're going to start a third
Yeah,
record?
we
What are you going to do?
Touring.
We start touring. We go to Australia on the 27th of December.
Yeah.
So immediately after Christmas. And we're touring probably until 2016 now.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's great.
new
Oh,
album,
look,
you know, it'd be great. You know, we're looking forward to making
But
new
the
music.
album's still fresh, too. And there's a
Yeah,
lot of
that's the
great
thing,
songs
yeah, it's
on
I
it.
mean,
fresh,
yeah,
yeah.
to us it's very fresh. You know?
Yeah.
We like to write when we have time
Yeah.
at home, and so
You know, like because some people say that whole thing where it's just not comfortable when you're riding on that tour bus, double decker bus. Whether you have the equipment in the back or not, you know what I mean, the back lounge. It's it can be,
it's hard. It's hard to
Yeah.
get the 3 of us together.
yeah,
Do it individually now and again, but it all comes together when we're not touring.
yeah. Now, have you described Leeds to people because of those fans out there who are like you guys, like the Kaiser Chiefs, who live at Leeds immortalized that town? I always explain that the Carling Weekend Festival it's a lot more remote than the one that's in Reading. Because Reading, you're right by the town. You can walk out. It used to be the Hotel Caversham. I remember I had lunch
Right.
there with John Peel, and
Yeah.
it was like, that was different. You're like, but the Leeds one's definitely more in the woods. It's a little
Yeah.
further out of the
Yeah.
town.
Yeah.
How would you describe Leeds to people then? For Leeds,
Leeds is we were students there. To go as a student, it's pretty incredible. They have a massive amount of students and really good universities, and so there's a lot of good music. Like it's quite eclectic. You know, like when I was a student, I discovered electronic music like from being in Leeds. A lot of dubstep and people were just having parties in their basement, and that really did open up my my music experience. So and
great thing about college too, like when that's it, it's like you're always open-minded. You know,
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah.
Making new friends. Guys, listen, thanks so much for coming by. It was great hanging with you.
Thanks
Right,
for having
thanks
us.
for having us.
Tom and Gus, it was so great to have you.
Nice one.
Alt J here backstage, Big Ticket for FanPass.tv with Matt Pinfield right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Guys, it's a pleasure to have you,
Sweet.
man. Say hi to the rest of the band.
Will
For
do.
me. Tell them I'm a
Yeah.
big fan. It's
Yeah.
funny because if you watch that radio movie, meeting people is easy. I'm the only time in the entire film that Tom York is actually having